For farms and colonies, I am going to be going a little bit more in depth on farms. Right now, we are going to go to Roa's farm, which I have over there near Ravedan, just to show it to you guys. It's a little bit buggy, and it requires a lot of maintenance. Thus, it's not a ideal money maker. It's not an ideal location. Some people, so from a farm, you're going to be harvesting flour. Some people build an enterprise, a bakery, and provide the flour to that bakery themselves, and thus will produce a lot of money. But that time spent on all of that is better invested or simply going around the world, building enterprises all over the place, and buying properties, building your finances that way. So I'm just going to speed up time. We're going to visit the farm real quick. Some money is rolling in, 61k. And at the end of each week, all of your character traits will be taken into consideration. All the new calculations will be done. There we go. And further running to my farm. There's a lot of shit going on the world map. That's why it's a little bit all over the place. So this is your farm. This is your workbench. And we already have a few fields with ripe harvesting. You will need a sickle equipped on your character so you can cut the wheat. But again, let me just show you. Farming sickle. And then I have to go outside, go in the field, have to cut this. And of course, I can't cut it exactly where it wants it. Maybe this one isn't even ripe yet. I'll have to check that field over there. Yeah, that one field's a little bit bigger. Let's see if I have a ripe wheat field, this is going to be easier to showcase. No, seriously. Well, once they're done. Oh, also, did I mention it takes a week for the wheat to be in full bloom, full harvest mode. You cut these, you receive the flour in the inventory, but then this disappears, but you can go through it. So you have to navigate through a maze of invisible cut down wheat to harvest everything. It's simply too much of a hassle, and I don't recommend it to you, only if you love role playing. So if that's your purpose, farm is for you. Now, I'm going to be reloading just because I'm near Zendar. Ooh. Oh, right, it saves at the end of each week. I forgot about that. It's okay. We're going to go back to Zendar. And I'm going to be taking a ship to my colony. I'm going to showcase you the colony system. Now, the colony system is a little bit buggy, but it's an amazing feature, and you're not going to be able to see something similar anywhere else. So we're going to take our ships, and I'm going to go to America to show it to you guys. So, colonies are simply villages. They're a combination of village and castle, and you need to becoming a farmer in Mountain Blade. That is possible in Nova Aetas, actually. So colonies are a combination of villages and castles. You need to babysit them. But for role-playing purposes, it's incredibly satisfying to build a colony, a village, a town from the grounds up. And I'm going to be showing that right now. So, we land here. This is my colony. It's called America. No relation to America whatsoever. We have a population of 160. It's currently producing gold, and it has 15 units of gold. You can rename the colony. You can populate your colony with either slaves or townsmen with colonists from the old world. To grab colonists, you can always bring 10 guys with you by taking a stroll through any of the towns in the old world and talking with the town people over there and ask them, hey, You want to come to my cool colony? We have blackjack and hookers, and he's going to be coming with you. Him and 10 other people. So practically a stack of colonists will be here. You need to provide them, though. You need to provide them with housing. You need to provide them with housing, and you need to build food and stuff to provide for your colonists. And there's a comprehensive guide of everything that you need to do right here. Practically, if you read through this, it will also explain the controls of how to build stuff. You're going to be A-okay. Everything that is to know about colonies is right here. You don't have to worry about a thing. But I am going to showcase how my colony currently looks. So this place was an empty field. This was an empty field. Everything that was built here is from scratch. Yep, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. And these are the houses that you have access to depending on the tech stage that you're at. And also depending on the stage of the colony. There are 3 stages to your colony, and depending on what you build over here, these are it. Houses, wells, wooden bridges, trees, fences, wooden walls. These are also aesthetic purposes. Then we have upgraded houses, marketplaces, village chapels, blacksmiths. Each city in each building in the description will give you an idea of what it does. So for example, if I want to build a village chapel, now I have access to this, and I can just place it manually. I'm not kidding. Place it manually and rotate it wherever the fuck I want. So when I said that this place was an empty field, I meant it. Each building of any type, you're the person who's placing it. You are the person who's placing it. Okay. Just to showcase the rest of the buildings. Let me just go, press the B button. So we already seen Tech Stage 2. Tech Stage 3, plastered houses, small manor, town church, stone wall, stone tower, stone gate. And Tech Stage 5, citizens mansion, citizens country house, citizens half-timbered house, great manor, fountain, windmill. These are things that I haven't built yet. These are simply things that I haven't built yet. But you can create a beautiful, beautiful colony. Colonies can be sieged and can be taken and can be raided. But when somebody attacks, you can... no, not go to the stacks. Yeah, manage defenses and visit the colony fort. When somebody attacks, you will be fighting inside your fort. And this is an upgradable fort. This is the max level of the fort that you can go for. So practically this is the castle siege. If they attack, they're going to be attacking this place. At the beginning, when you create your fort, this is simply a small camp with a small wooden palisade and a small bridge with a small dog and other small stuff. So yeah, you need to cherish, take care, and babysit the colony up the ass for it to produce and reach these levels. And this took me, I think, around 100 days, around 100 in-game days. If I would have skipped on going for a colony, I think we would have reached this stage at day 482 instead of 582. So keep that in mind. Those are the colony systems. Now, please don't get me wrong. I love the colony system. It's amazing. It's amazing what they managed to implement in Mount & Blade. They pushed the limits of the engine, and that's amazing. And for role-playing purposes, to be able to build a colony, awesome sauce. Beautiful, awesome sauce. The only problem that I have with it is that you need to babysit it. And again, it's not a good way to passively give you money. Okay? So from that perspective, please, for the love of God, if you're not going to go for the conquering of the world, it's simply worth it to create a colony just for the fun of it. Okay, guys? Just for the fun of it. Go and get that colonists in. Get those colonists in. Okay, now, since we've talked about colonies, let's talk about the New World a little bit. The New World. So, this is the New World. This is the fully explored New World. Sadly, you can no longer see the Aztec Empire because I've conquered the Aztec Empire. But everything that you can see with a red over here, except Zenderfall and Merica, was the Aztec Empire. These were their former territories. They have 3 cities and a few castles. Now, the Aztecs are incredibly weak, as I mentioned in their troop trees. The Aztecs are incredibly weak, and usually you go into the New World to pick on them. They will automatically become hostile if you create a colony. Automatically become hostile with you if you create a colony. And you're practically forced by the game to pick on them because there's no way of procuring water and food in the New World. So each time I went to the New World and explored a little bit, I was forced to go back to the Old World to get water and food for my party. Even after I've conquered one city from the Aztecs, their cities do not have... I'm actually going to go right now. Yeah, you can join them, but you do not have access to a tavern. You do not have access to an arena if you join that faction. And those are some big missing pieces. Also, if you start your faction from there, like I did, do not do that because you cannot build extra stuff inside their cities. And they also use cocoa beans for currency. Yeah, so once I got a city... Yeah, I'm just gonna keep on letting my boy go to Zendar. Once I've conquered a city, I was forced to buy their most expensive thing in their marketplace just to buy some food from their marketplaces. It's that bad. So for the love of God, if you want to start your faction, start it in the Old World, okay? And we're going to talk about good locations to start your faction a little bit later on, okay? For right now, we're going to continue talking about the New World. Anything that you see with white are colony locations, and each colony location, if you get it, will produce a different type of trade good. Merica over here, which was, of course, named differently, initially, I renamed it to Merica. Merica produces gold bars. Okay, let's go to the harbor and sail to the New World just because I want to show you Exocapan. I'm going to go to the beach of Exocapan. There we go. And while my dude's traveling, I'm going to continue talking about these places. Some of them will produce cotton, some of them will produce cocoa, some of them will produce, what else? Coffee beans, and so on and so forth. Each one of them, you can create a colony, but each colony needs to be pampered and managed and grown, and my god, that is quite a grind. This entire game is quite a grind, but that is a thing. That's why I only have Merica, and the reason I have Zenderfall is because Zenderfall was a colony founded by the merchants of Zendar. So yeah, I took the colony from them, and the AI factions will create colonies themselves. These two are part of the Kingdom of Rhodox. The reason I didn't take these two is because I was declared, because Swadia declared war on me, and I did not want to fight them on two fronts. Okay, so yeah, ivory and stuff like that. True. We're gonna land here in Exocapan, and here is a city of the Aztecs. You only have access to a marketplace that has 0 florins, so I'm forced to grab jewelry from here just to sell my other stuff, or buy my other stuff. And they have some food and some water. This is the major issue with Aztec cities. Another issue, no tavern. And when I started my faction from here, I couldn't build new buildings. Couldn't build new buildings in town. I could just manage the tax rates and some stuff like that, but no new buildings. And building stuff is a big factor in how much the city will produce and how much the people are satisfied with your rule. So for the love of God, go have fun. If you want to massacre the Aztecs, go and massacre them, but just don't start your faction from here. You'll have a much easier time starting from the old world. What I did was I started a faction from over here. I had very limited options of building stuff, and then I constructed a castle, and using the castle as a staging point, I attacked Zendar. And it's much better to construct a castle and then anywhere else, but not in the new world. Okay, so what other things you can do in the new world? There are a few locations that you can explore. So it's the new world. You have things to explore. You can go inside the jungle over here, and you'll be able to find hidden treasures and good shit. What else? I think, no, not Island of Alus. There's another jungle over here. There's a tribal town over here that you can visit and explore. And then there's the hidden town, the lost town of Isto. This is practically the lost Aztec town in, our own world, our own history. But in this game, it's called Isto. And if you go there and explore it, you're going to be finding a lot of goodies. So, I actually do recommend in the early game, once you have a decent amount of troops, if you want to have money to fund building your enterprises in the old world, you could come over to the new world and explore the locations a little bit just to find some more cool stuff. Oh, and we also have the forgotten town of Axtihuatl near a volcano, another location where you can explore and grab some delicious goodies, plus Mochtai Statues Island. This is practically a tribute to Easter Island. There's a lot of very, very tall statues that you can explore and find treasures over here as well. And that's it. Just a summary of the new world, what you can do here. Harass the Aztecs, take them as prisoner, make them slaves, get money from their villages, raid their villages, but don't start your faction from here because you will have a very, very limited faction. Besides that, you can also explore these secondary locations full of treasure, and you're going to be going back home super fucking rich. Now, since we're in the area, let's talk a little bit about fleet and ships and how can you reach the new world. Yeah, a lot of people simply go all conquistador on their asses. I've actually, in my playthrough, in this playthrough, I did not go conquistador on their asses. I've constructed all of the enterprise and properties myself, but then it made sense to start the faction from there. Logically speaking, it made sense to start the faction from there. Oh, wow. Pathfinding, please. I'm just gonna load easier that way. It just makes sense to start a faction from over there, but I had this nasty surprise of not being able to build new things, not having access to our arena, not having access to the tavern. Tavern being the bitchiest one, because I could have used some extra troops. Because even though your soldiers are net superior to the Aztecs, you will still suffer a few casualties here and there. Now, forward and quickly talk about fleet and ships. There is naval battle, but I recommend that you stay away from it. It's very, very buggy. And in naval battle, your soldiers do not have a little flag above their head to let you know which boys are yours and which are the enemies. So that's kind of fucked up. That is kind of fucked up. And a lot of bugs, a lot of weird spawning locations, no tactics whatsoever. Trust me, stay away from naval battles. Oh. Okay, as you can see, Chris spawned in heaven. That's fucked up. Okay, so to buy boats, you can go to the harbor, buy a new ship, and there are 4 types of ships. The only difference between them is the troop capacity. That is all. Just go for galleons. They're the most cost effective, and I have 4 galleons that serve their purpose very well. All 4 of them have the same speed. There's no something better than the other. Galleons simply provide you with the most space and most units, thus it's the most useful. Okay. Now, let's see. So that was it on fleet. There's nothing more to add, and the cost maintenance for the fleet is shown in your personal budget at the end of each week. So fleet maintenance, 2.4k. That's nothing to the amount of money that you're going to be producing in late game. So don't you worry about that. Don't you worry your bloody heads. Just stay away from naval battles. You can, of course, try out a few just to convince yourself that they're horrible, and that's it. That's it. Okay, what's the next